Thanks everyone for staying. So let's start with a prayer together, and then I'll introduce us and we'll have some time to share. So let's begin with a prayer together. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, beloved friend God, great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswar, and beloved Guru, Paramhansa Yogananda, saints of every religion, we bow at thy feet. Thank you for bringing us together. Thank you for giving us these teachings. Thank you for your inspiration and the opportunity to share your light with everyone we meet. Open our hearts and minds and use us as your channels. We are thine. Be thou ours. Om. Peace. Amen. So, we're here today from Ananda Village to share about our Ananda outreach ministries, our global outreach ministries. And I wanted to start just by sharing, what are those outreach ministries? What does that mean? Because there's a lot that's happening in a lot of different ways. One of the ways is through ananda.org, our main website, and our online classes. Ananda Online has a wide variety of classes, as well as a virtual community. We also have our Ananda Kriya Sangha, which supports our Kriya ministry in all of our different communities and all around the world, supporting Kriya bonds everywhere with resources and such. We have our Spanish ministry, Ananda Español, which takes everything that you see and experience through Ananda, translating it and sharing it in Spanish for Spanish speakers all around the world. We also have our two retreat centers, the Expanding Light Retreat and the Meditation Retreat, as well as Crystal Hermitage, our Ananda Music Ministry, which again supports our music ministry in all of our different communities by providing resources and support and attunement. We have our meditation groups all around the world as well, and support for that. We have Radio Ananda. How many people here listen to Radio Ananda? Oh yeah, we got some fans here. Okay, all the time. So that's going out to people all around the world. We have Treasures Along the Path, which is archiving and sharing talks by Swami Kriyananda. And our Healing Prayer Ministry, which shares, takes prayer requests from people all around the world and sharing the healing teachings of Yogananda as well. So those are all of our outreach ministries. So I'm going to share a little bit, and I've brought with me some friends here. Shyama, who works in our communications department, is going to share. And my friend Kevala, who works with me in the fundraising department, is also going to share a little bit about his experience. Kevala is new. Some of you might not have met him. He moved to the village about 1.5 years ago, and he's been working in the fundraising department with me for about 9 months. And he has a very interesting story that is a great testimonial for our outreach ministries. So he'll share a little bit about that and a few other things. So I want to start by inviting Shyama to come up and share.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buonasera. Buenas tardes. Something that keeps inspiring me constantly is what Swami said about when he realized that he wanted to know God and to serve God with others. And that I find it inspiring constantly because all of us are doing that on our private practice, but then every time that we interact with each other, every time that we go out to the market and we smile when people seem that they are not smiling, those little gestures is a way to serve God. And there is much more. And that's when the communications department at Ananda Village, in this case, we, roll your sleeves, and we go to work and joyfully serve Master and Swami with the world. So There are a few channels that we use for this. One of them is ananda.org, a huge website. We're still discovering pages. I think last number that I heard was like 17,000 pages on that website. Some of those we weren't even aware that existed. So we are constantly working with a website in a way that stays alive, relevant, beautiful, and magnetic. Because when we share God and when we share what we have, it goes beyond just giving a class on the stage. It goes beyond giving or sharing master and the teachings in even in a workshop. We can share master we should share master with vibration, and we do that through the colors we choose when we design the website or a flyer. And there is also a lot nowadays with social media. A lot of people go there, and that's the way that they relate with the world. So Ananda is present. So in one of these channels, I don't know if you know, or even a user of Instagram and YouTube. Those are big, big platforms where Ananda worldwide is very present. So some of the numbers that is always fun to hear is that just in the last year, one of the areas that we continue working is allowing people to subscribe to the newsletter so they can hear from us. So 13,000 new people subscribe to the newsletter. And that's very encouraging when many companies, they may barely scratch a few thousand. 13,000 people ask us that they want to hear from us, like, what else do you have? And I'm interested in what you are offering. Another data is also 18,000 people participated actively on some of the free courses. For the first time last year, we offered Inner Renewal Retreat for free online, and we got, I think, 3,500 people participating on it. Half of them totally new to Ananda. And after that, they continue engaging. And this is people around the world. Now, if we go to platforms like YouTube, last year, just in 1 year, we had 21 million of views on videos that Bhagdan is posting constantly every day. And another interesting number is how many people went to the internet. Well, that's many, many, many. But they typed something, and Ananda.org showed up as offering the answer to the question 22 million of times. So if you can imagine, like every time that one of us get in touch with someone through a smile, through a good gesture, and that's a vibration going out to the world, imagine 20 millions of times in different areas our vibration has been going out, touching somehow people. And many times it doesn't stick in the very first time, but there is something on the consciousness that will continue vibrating. And eventually, maybe in this lifetime, maybe not later, but they will think, I remember seeing something, I remember feeling something. And that's a lot what communications we do.
It plants a seed.
It plants a seed, exactly, and a seed of consciousness. And especially in the times that things are changing so much, sometimes not for the best, we need something that keeps us in our center, and that's what we all are offering. Another interesting stories to know is how this department has been touching people. So definitely many will go to the internet and maybe learn something or find an answer for their question. One of our friends, he eventually made it to Ananda Village. He was playing video games. And what has that to do with spirituality? His karma put him in this track because he was listening like a souffle, like a random music showing up, and suddenly a very special voice came up, and he needed to stop playing because he noticed that something very important was happening. So this was Swami Kriyananda reading Autobiography of a Yogi. So he went from a life of video games to a life of devotee, and he eventually moved to Ananda Village. Another story of a very dear friend also, he started studying just meditation. That was interesting, but he continued on the path of Kriya. Eventually, he became a Kriyavan. So now he and his wife are Kriyavans. They are teaching their children how to chant the chants. They meditate what they can, when they can, but they are raising their children in this consciousness. But not only that, because they know that they cannot move to a community, what they are doing, they are starting a meditation group in their own hometown. So these are ways that people start resonating from that seed and eventually can grow very strong like a tree. And then there are cases like they started doing the path of Kriya and learn to meditate and everything, and eventually they may become even a member of one of our centers. So there is a lot of hope, and that's a lot what we try to not only feel in ourselves, but also to share on whatever we do, either through a flyer or through a website, because you never know. And this is something that it goes way beyond our little department. This is something that goes all way to each one of you, because we are also part of that magnetism, of that wave that Master Babaji and Christ started putting in motion, and then through the Masters and Yogananda and Swami, and now through each one of you. So as we share Master and Swami and this ray of consciousness, try to feel that network that is around the world, where millions of people are tuned into the same ray of light. And the stronger we get, the more together we are, the stronger and lighter and deeper we will get. Blessings.
Hello, everyone. And as Erin mentioned, my name's Kevala, and I recently moved to Ananda Village. And it's been quite a joy being in this vibration, and especially today, as it's my first time coming to Sacramento in this community, in this temple, to walk in and feel that family vibration and the consciousness of Ananda is just so palpable here, coming into the temple and feeling that we're all together. And I'll talk more about that and why it's important. But first, I want to talk a little bit about our retreats. And as Erin mentioned, we have 2 physical retreats that are part of the outreach ministries, and many of you have probably stayed at the meditation retreat or the expanding light. And you know that each has their individual strengths. The meditation retreat is a retreat focused on silence and seclusion. In fact, many of you probably still call it the seclusion retreat. The expanding light has a strong emphasis on community, on programs, coming together and meeting others that are also on this path to encourage and create enthusiasm in your spiritual life through learning and education. This current year, we're offering 54 retreats at the expanding light. So it's pretty much every weekend there's something going on, plus all the personal retreatants. But the big news about the retreats that I'm happy to get to share with you is there's going to be a little bit of a shift. And it won't be conscious or energetic, but rather than having 2 separate retreats, there's going to be one retreat with 2 campuses. And so what that means is we're able to communicate to people that want to come and visit Ananda, that have maybe heard of us online or listening to Swami, playing video games, about the difference between the retreats and which one's more specific for them. For example, that the meditation retreat might be a good opportunity to develop inner silence, to come and have a restorative time in seclusion, where the expanding light could be the opportunity to come and learn about the sound of Om or the chakras and really go deeper into the teachings. So there'll be a push to market and to have registration, all unified so that it's really clearly laid out when you're coming to Ananda what retreat you're going to be attending and how you'll be attending it. I wanted to also share, briefly, and many of you know that there's such a strong vibration at Ananda, and it really helps us find our peace. Last year in November, the first week in November, you may know it wasn't as peaceful as there was a lot of chaos with the uncertainty of the election. And a woman had researched 15 different retreats to find a place that she could get away so that she didn't have to worry about what was going on in the world, and hopefully find tools that would help her to cope and maybe develop some harmony and peace around whatever the outcome of the election might be. And out of those 15 retreats, she found Ananda in the Expanding Light Retreat, and she registered for a personal retreat. And she came and she connected with Sundara, the spiritual director of the Expanding Light. And, he knew kind of what was going on in her world. But the day after the election, he was surprised when he went to check in with her. He wasn't sure if it had gone her way or not, but he wanted to see how she was doing. And she had this deep sense of peace. She told him that she'd been going to all of the sadhanas, all the classes, and trying to absorb as much as she could. And after she left the Expanding Light, she wrote a testimonial. And in it, she shared that she now had a gift in her life that was Ananda. And she left completely transformed. And this is the vibration, this is the consciousness that we get to share. She was excited because she was going to leave with enthusiasm to connect with a local center and to get support from online also. And that's where places like the Sacramento community and other centers throughout our country really come into play, is after people have developed this connection, they have that physical support. But not everybody has the privilege of living near a center or a community or a meditation group. And so there's also things that we offer online. Another retreat we did was Inner Renewal Retreat. Shyama briefly touched on this, which was an amazing offering because people from 60 different countries were able to tune in and be a part of sharing the vibration that Ananda is. There was around 3,000 people that signed up. And like Shyama said, half of them were brand new to Ananda. They weren't engaged with us in any other way, and they just happened to find the retreat and sign up. And a big reason that we got those numbers was because it was offered for free. Because we have so much amazing support, we were able to do that. One of the interesting testimonials that came across my desk working in fundraising was an individual, this man, he lived in Turkey. And you probably know there aren't centers or meditation groups in Turkey. Definitely not a community yet. But everybody there has internet access. And thanks to the communications department, we have targeted ads that do wonders. Now, this man, he'd been having a really hard time. He lost his brother in 2023 and had immense financial stress in his life and was really challenged. He said that he was at the time of his most inner crying for help when online he saw an ad for Inner Renewal Retreat offered for free. And he signed up and he took the retreat. He was engaged all week, and afterwards he was so inspired that he left a small gift to Ananda. And in that testimonial, he said that it finally gave him the hope to get out of the state he'd been stuck in. And that's the inspiration that's so important, connecting with people that we can't physically, but supporting them online. And the virtual community is an example of the way online with Ananda has been able to foster a really strong energy online with people all over the world. Mostly people in the United States are a part of the virtual community, but there's many people throughout the world, about 330 individuals that come together online every week and bring enthusiasm to satsang, to meditations, classes, and workshops. And this virtual community is so important because it's able to give them the inspiration they need in everyday life. As we all know, it can be hard to not have the support of each other. And this community has really strengthened. And one example has been a woman that she's been a part of the virtual community and been plugging in. She lives on the East Coast, not near a center that she can engage with. And so the virtual community has become really the lifeblood of her spiritual life. And she went through a really challenging time just a couple months ago. She was driving and she got word that her son had a run-in with the law. And she was on the phone with the police, just devastated, trying to figure out where he was. And after she got off the phone, while she was sitting in the car, the next thing that she did is she went to the virtual community and posted about what was happening in her life. And she was flooded with support from all of her guru bhais throughout the world that were able to engage and give her energy and prayers. And this kind of support is what the outreach ministries really strives to do, to support people that need that connection in their life and need the support of Ananda wherever they might be. So thank you all for your generosity in helping that happen.
Well, I don't know how much more I need to say. That says a lot right there, but I did want to share a few updates also from some of our other ministries. We've had some big changes in the last year. Some of our dear Guru Bhais have gone into the astral world, and some of you know Naya Swami Krishna, who is heading up our Treasures Along the Path, which has been archiving and preserving all of the talks by Swami and then getting them out to people. And Treasures continues. We have a great sweet soul, Sananda, who was working closely with Krishna on all of that, and he's kept that going. And, when I talked with him recently, he said, I just want to get these talks out to truth seekers everywhere. And it's really because of the support that we get from all of you that we're able to do all of this and reach out to so many people. And, we decided in 2025 that we would not be sending out CDs anymore. I'm very sorry for anyone who still was hoping for CDs, but we've transitioned to focus more on getting things out digitally. And one of the ways is through YouTube. Shyama mentioned how many YouTube views we have. Well, one of the things that we're doing on YouTube is putting out a new Swami talk from the library. So we have about 300 edited talks that are in the library, and we're putting one of those out every week on YouTube. And then there's over 5,000 that are in the archive that have been preserved so that we can, edit them and put them out in the future. So those talks that are going out every week live, there are over 100 people that are tuning in live, and then in the next couple days, there's 600 or 700 people that are watching this video. But what's interesting is to read the comments that people leave, how grateful they are to feel Swami's vibration. So I'm so grateful to all of you who have contributed and helped us to preserve all of those talks, because there's so much inspiration there. The other ministry that's had a big shakeup this year was Healing Prayers. Our dear sister Mary Kretzman passed also, and she was holding that prayer energy for a long time and probably still is in the astral world, I think. But again, the Healing Prayer Ministry continues very strong. We have a lovely team of people that are receiving over 120 prayer requests every month and sending those out to over 1,000 people on our prayer council. And it really is a lifeline for people. Sometimes healing prayers, or Radio Ananda, or Treasures, it can be the one way that people connect with Ananda. Maybe they don't come to Sunday service, maybe they don't come to a class, but they need a prayer. And there was a gentleman who donated recently. A lot of times people, when they feel grateful for the prayers they received, and they will send a donation and they'll share with us their inspiration. And this one gentleman donated recently and shared with us, I'm so grateful for this prayer group. It's always been there for me. And this is someone who's never connected in any other way. They've never taken any other online class. They've never visited. This is his lifeline, his connection to this spiritual path is through this prayer group. We have 5 days a week, there is a healing prayer group coming together and praying for others. So it's happening on Zoom, and there are people from all around the world, Australia, Cambodia, India, Canada, United States, England. And what's been really beautiful is with Mary's passing, some of the core people that have been coming every day have been stepping up and leading those groups and sharing that prayer energy. So that continues very beautifully. I mentioned also Radio Ananda, which is another beautiful way that sometimes people connect for the first time with this vibration. What's interesting is that vibration is going out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's really a broadcast station. Swami's vibration, that music, is being listened to 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We have a little stat that you can see on the website that shows someone somewhere is always listening to that station. Isn't that incredible? We have over 28,000 unique listeners per month on average. 28,000 people tuning into that vibration. That's got to be doing something good for the world, for sure. And there's some great energy going into Radio Ananda to find new ways to share, and not just the songs, but also an instrumental station, sharing the mantras. So there's lots of different ways to tune into the vibration and stay inspired. I'll touch also on our music ministry, which, again, like I said, supports our music ministry. You have a beautiful music ministry here, which is wonderful. It's always a joy to come here and feel that vibration everywhere we go. But our music ministry at the Village, one beautiful thing is that some of you know Ramesha. He's come on full time to make his full focus our music ministry, and that has allowed him and Bhagavati to be giving more energy, either traveling or doing online satsangs, and just connecting and helping keep the inspiration for whoever's sharing the music wherever they are, whether that's in Italy or in India or Australia, our meditation groups on the East Coast. Not everyone has a really solid music ministry like we have here, so they need that support to keep that attunement. And also the resources that we have, like our song library. And some of you know Prashad, he's been putting some energy into updating some of the practice pieces in there and just giving energy so that it stays strong and in tune, because the music is so a central part of who we are as part of Ananda. They're also working on a new chant book. I can't tell you when it will be out, but it's going to be very exciting. They put in a lot of energy into that, and a lot of energy into translating chants into Spanish. So the music ministry has been working with our Ananda Español, our Spanish ministry, and making sure that there is one translation of our chants into Spanish, because Spanish, there's lots of different ways that you can translate things depending on which country you're in and what, kind of what vocabulary you use. But we also know how important it is for attunement that we have one version that we're all tuning into. So they're translating 6 chants each month, and then doing a live kirtan in Spanish from the Temple of Light. They just did one, I think, this week. It just got posted on YouTube. It's really fun to tune into. Even if you don't speak Spanish, it's really fun to tune into. It's just like, wow, our brothers and sisters get to tune into this vibration in their own language. It's just like, it's such a blessing. There was a woman actually in Palo Alto that I met recently who actually came to the Village to get Kriya. And she had taken all of the Path of Kriya classes in Palo Alto and never took Kriya. It never clicked for her. Then she went and took all the classes online with Bhakti Marg in Spanish. And she just took Kriya recently. It was a total game changer for her. She was able to relate to it much more deeply coming from her own language. So they're doing an amazing work with the Spanish ministry. One of the biggest things they did in the last year was all of their traveling, especially with Naya Swami Asha. They were traveling to Argentina, Ecuador, Spain, and Italy. They had over 1,200 people that signed up for those various free offerings and workshops that they did. And that's wonderful. A lot of them for the first time, they weren't even really aware of Ananda, but they were drawn in because they recognized Yogananda. They didn't even necessarily recognize Asha, but Yogananda, because his picture was on all the marketing that they did. And now a lot of those people, especially the group in Spain, there's a lot of folks in Spain, but they don't have a meditation group, they don't have a center yet. They're taking the online classes with us, with Bhakti Marg, through the outreach ministries. And Jyotish and Devi will be going to Spain this year after their trip to Italy and doing a Kriya retreat and energizing there. So there's just this beautiful global energy that's energizing. Another way that's happening is through our Kriya ministry as well. Our Kriya ministry at the Village is supporting Kriya bonds everywhere, with much like the music ministry, with resources, with classes. If you're a Kriya bond and you haven't tuned into, there's a weekly Kriya Bond meditation that happens online, and there's over 80 people that tune in every week from all around the world. It's really powerful. If you've never meditated online, I recommend giving it a try. There is a lot of power in it. It's one of the deepest meditations I do every week. So, but Devalila was sharing that, one of the things they're trying to do is working with our different centers and communities And especially, when people come from our other communities and are taking our classes online, making sure that we're connecting them back to their local center as their place to take Kriya and to receive further support and to get connected. Sometimes that happens through Italy and Assisi, and one thing that they've done is folks that are taking our Path of Kriya classes online through Europe, because they don't offer them in English through Assisi. So instead of recreating the wheel, those people are taking their classes with us, and then we have some of their Kriyacharyas, some of their Kriya ministers, are doing satsangs with them so that they're getting connected, and they have a way to follow up and feel like, oh yeah, these are familiar faces. Because, going through the Path of Kriya, taking these classes, is a deep dive, and you create connections and relationships. So we want to make sure there's this sense of global community, that people don't feel isolated wherever they are. So I wanted to end by sharing a story about a woman who took our online classes. She just turned 80 years old in November, and she took all of our online classes for Path of Kriya leading up to taking Kriya. Because she's in Wisconsin, in this tiny little town, there's no other devotees. And so she tuned in online. And she got to the point where she was ready to take Kriya, and Deva Leela, who's our main Kriya minister in the US, she meets with everyone who gets to that point and helps them kind of find where should they take Kriya and what's their next step. And usually, try to direct them someplace locally. Well, in this case, and in some cases, people aren't able to travel, or there isn't someplace close enough, there are different circumstances. And this was the case for her. She couldn't travel, and so they did an online Kriya ceremony for her in September. So she got Kriya and continued, though, to stay connected. She became a part of the virtual community. She joined the Healing Prayer Council. She still comes every Wednesday to the Kriya meditation, because you get Kriya. That's not the end of the story. There's this life of Kriya after, where we need that support. We need to stay connected and inspired. And she just dived in and just drew on everything we have to offer. And one of the other things reading the books from Crystal Clarity and, listening to Swami's music, it's just a beautiful example of someone, we have all this to offer, but here's someone who's really drawing on it. So Deva Leela kept in touch with her. And in January, this woman emailed Deva Leela and said, my son's passed. He's 38 years old. He had a heart attack. It was completely unexpected. So Deva Leela reached out to her and said, do you want to, talk? So they got on a Zoom call. And Deva Leela said it was completely different than what she had expected. She was expecting this woman to be completely devastated. I mean, to lose your child unexpectedly has got to be one of the hardest karmas, certainly. And she said she was completely at peace. And this woman shared that 6 months prior, she had been reading Jyotish and Devi's collection of blogs, Touch of Joy. And she would just, every day, she would open it randomly and just take that as master's, guidance for the day, whatever inspiration was there. And so 6 months prior, she had opened to this particular blog where Jyotish shares about the most famous talk, where the Swami comes out and all he says is, everything that comes to you is a blessing from the divine meant for your spiritual evolution. And she felt that was Master nudging her to practice that. So 3 times a day for those 6 months, she was practicing that affirmation. Everything that comes to you is a blessing from the divine meant for your spiritual evolution. And she said it prepared her in a way that she never could have imagined. It was Master preparing her for this difficult, this impossible, tragic circumstance. And Deva Leela said she was just completely at peace. And I've seen her too in some of our workshops, and there is such an undercurrent of joy, even though she's going through this difficult circumstance, because she's drawing on the inspiration and she's supported by everything that's being offered. And what's so beautiful is that, she's feeling that vibration, she's drawing on that vibration in her own life, but also sharing it with others. She had a military funeral for her son. He was in the Marines, and so they had a big military funeral with the gun salute and everything. And even at that funeral, she had this vibration because she had them play a recording of Ramesha singing Canticle of the Creatures. So not even anything in English, just the vibration going out and touching, uplifting everyone there. And most of all, this devotee. Such a beautiful example of, and this is just one example. We don't know all the people that haven't written to us, that haven't stayed in touch, that haven't told us what an impact these teachings have made, what an impact it's made to be able to access these teachings, to have them within reach, and to feel connected, whether it's locally or online. So thank you to all of you really for your contribution here in Ananda, Sacramento, and through what we're doing at Ananda Village. It's touching so many lives. So we're going to share with you, these are some stats for those of you that like stats. They're very inspiring. And we're going to invite all of you to come up, and if you feel to make an offering, but even if you don't feel to make an offering today, just know that just by showing up and being here, being a part of this community here, you're giving your energy to all that's happening. If you'd like to make an offering, you can write on your pledge card, even if you don't have it with you today. I know some people like to donate online, so you can just write down what your pledge is, because really it's making that commitment to give your energy, and now's the time to do it when it's a moment of inspiration. And to be able to come up, we'll have some chanting, and you'll come up and offer and feel that really you're offering it in gratitude to Master for all that we've received, the inspiration that we feel to be a part of this, to feel that we can offer something back, whatever that is. And Kevala and I will be up here. We have a little gift for you as well. So everyone's welcome to come up and receive a gift. This is Finding Happiness Day by Day, which is a wonderful little collection of short daily readings, inspiration from Swami Kriyananda. Even if you have a copy, you could consider taking one and passing it along, maybe putting it in a little free library, or find someone who could maybe use this inspiration, because it's a real universal source of inspiration from this path. So come up as you feel to. We'll have some chanting. Let's just take a moment and close now with a visualization, sending this vibration, this gratitude, the inspiration that we feel to be a part of this community, this global spiritual family, little points of light all across the globe, radiating this vibration of self-realization. And let's add our energy by rubbing the hands together and chanting Om. Peace. Amen. Thank you all. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being here, receiving, and for being a part of this. It's such a joy. God bless.